I'm gonna design stuff, not just characters this time, because that's all I do. I want to change it up. I want to design locations and just general things for this series that is called Retrograde. It's a sci-fi psychological thriller, I guess. Currently, it's mostly just a concept, so what I'm really going to be doing is making art that makes me think like, yep, this is the direction I want to go in. Subscribe. I must resist trying to design her, but the main character is Miel. Here's a better way to do it. How about you just think of... Wow, oh my god. That was it. I drew that. Okay, so this is Falky from Signalis. I really liked Signalis. I played it last year, and it's just really good. I really like the world, I like the vibe, I love the different character designs, especially Falky's. When I say Miel, just think of Falky, okay? Just do me a favor there. So the story is obviously partially inspired by Signalis, but it is not nearly as horror. It's more psychological mystery. I guess we should go back to Miel for this. Miel is a Neptune model android. All the android models are named after different bodies in our solar system. We got Sol, Mercury, Venus, Terra, Luna, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Haha, I said Uranus, not Uranus. Neptune and Pluto. So it is going to be a 12-chapter series released monthly over the course of a year. I would prefer to start it at like the very start of a year because it's more thematic, you know, if you take a whole calendar year to tell the story. So you might be wondering, where's the 12th chapter? That would be Retrograde. Freaking awesome, right? The last chapter's named Retrograde. Retrograde is like that weird, I'm pretty sure it counts as an optical illusion, but not in like the traditional like, oh, it looks like a duck, but it also looks like a rabbit. It's more like from the Earth, the planet looks like it's spinning the wrong way or something. I don't actually know. I don't know astronomy or astrology, so maybe someone else should handle this story. Anyways, each android model will have a personality based on the astrological meaning of the celestial body. So soul, there's only one soul. Again, let me explain this. This is a moon. And on this moon, we have a little place. Do you want to know what that place is? It's a mine. They are mining on a desolate moon in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, there is only one soul per facility, and then there's a bunch of everyone else. Except for Pluto was discontinued. There's no current reason for that, so Pluto's just discontinued, which is also funny because have I explained all the world building I need to explain? There's not technically a lot. The majority is in the android models. So every chapter covers the model from Miel's perspective. Miel gets transferred to the mining facility on this desolate moon, and this moon is named... I don't know. You know what? You can name the moon. I don't care. It doesn't matter. First comment to name the moon. That is the canon name forever. As long as it's not like something heinous or already taken. Like you can't name it Titan because that's already a moon. Not that I expect you to name it anything normal. We are on the internet. I'll give you a little bit of personality for Miel because all the other characters are secondary. This is the kind of story that just stays with one main character and that's it. This isn't like an ensemble or anything. So Miel is Neptune. She is very aloof and she comes off as distant. She's just like a very internal person, very quiet, intuitive, curious, private. Okay, so she currently doesn't have any negative traits. Bad writing, am I right? There is one in this cast that sticks with Miel a lot, and that would be, can you guess? That would be Mercury, because he's like the exact opposite of Miel. I think I named him Lionel. I can tell you the hook of the story, because that's really easy to do. So Miel is being transferred to the mining facility to replace a missing Neptune unit. This Neptune unit mysteriously gone missing, but when Miel enters her room, she finds a poetry book from the old Neptune unit. Miel is not supposed to have this poetry book. She decides to keep it and starts investigating the missing Neptune unit. That's the plot. Anyways, there's this one part where Miel and Lionel, they think it's possible that the old Neptune unit got simply transferred, so they want to get the flight log for that. Now, I had this idea for an archive that is really big. So you know how it's like, I don't know how to do it, but it is going to be mostly vertical. If it would look like anything, it would look like this. My current headcanon, which isn't a headcanon because I have the canon, is that the gravity is stronger there, and so they need to send androids to mine. That's my current idea. There could be like more of a story reason later that I come up with, but for now that's the reason. Anyways, that's composition if I ever seen it. This is the door in, and all this, that is all data logs and whatever. I don't know how they store data here. It could be like data pads, I don't know. I mean, the idea of CDs makes me happy because I like CDs. I think they're cool. Whether or not a futuristic sci-fi world would actually have CDs, who's to say? So this is a little desk, I guess. I don't know. My idea for it is that there is this platform and it'll go through portal style to whatever area you need. So this would be the top down. It's kind of like a horizontal vending machine, I guess, because like you put in the number, you put in like the aisle, the row, whatever, column, whatever. The platform would be here. It could go here, here, here. Boom, you get whatever it is. It's like 3B or whatever. That's the general idea of it. It goes up and down too. Do I want to draw that? Not at this very moment, but I could. Don't know exactly how everything works, like in terms of technology, because I do think that's important for sci-fi if the technology at least makes sense, because there's certain kind of drives that they send to space because it handles all the radiation in space better or whatever, like stuff like that. I'm no scientist, but I did watch a video of a real-life engineer reviewing the Ishimura from Dead Space. So if you know Dead Space, this video is really good. I loved it. It was literally just like a lot of, yeah, it wouldn't really be safe to have this laying out unsecured because if the ship rocks, then someone could fall and stuff like that. I ate that up. I haven't played Dead Space 2 yet, but I loved the first one. And, well, I loved the remake of the first one. I haven't played the original yet. I have thought about getting the books, though. I was wondering how they drill into the things. So how do they drill into the thing, you may ask? So lasers are really easy, but it could be android hands-on labor. So it could be just straight up pickaxes and stuff, but I don't know how I would feel about that in my sci-fi world. I also don't know what to draw because I had this idea for a visual. It was probably going to be a page, but so we got a guardrail, and then there was going to be something here, something big, composition, something. I don't actually know what. First thing I think, oh, it's a drill. But if it's just a drill, what are the androids actually there for? So actually, you know what? What's the layout of this place look like? Because I want to get that like big, over-industrial, like just really oppressive mechanical environment. But that is very detail-oriented. I gotta draw like a bunch of pipes. I actually did have this idea for like a visual. It's a fan. Anyways, it's like really big because you need a lot of ventilation when you are so far down. Big fan on the wall here. I'm gonna have to learn to draw backgrounds at some point. Anyways, Miel would be sitting here, you know, all sad. How do I get what I want? How do I get what I want as fast as possible without actually having to try? 40 minutes? I haven't done anything. Oh no. What makes designing a place cool, though? I don't know. Let's just make a hallway for now, just to get like a good sense of what this place is actually like. So we got a hallway here. What kind of stuff? What are the doors? Are the doors, you know, classic handle and swing, Or are they the... I hate the fact that I'm about to say this, but the piston doors from Minecraft. Okay, think about this logically. How far in the future is this? We have synthetic, organic androids. We have ways to excavate an entire moon. That also lets them be airtight very easily. Elevator doors, Star Wars doors. There's so many better things I could have said than Minecraft pistons. You can easily quarantine anything you need to. I would say this is all concrete in my mind because it doesn't need to be metal because it's not a ship. Although, what would be quicker? Would it be quicker to build everything? It would be cheaper to build everything with concrete, right? We got to take that into consideration too because like humans don't love spending a lot of money. We have to think in terms of this place sucks, so where are they going to cut corners? Things are pretty gross looking, would there be a lot of moisture in the air? That's a good question because these are androids, but they are synthetically organic as well. So they do have to eat and drink. It's probably cheaper than supplying a ton of... Would it be cheaper than supplying a ton of energy? How would they power all the androids? If it's cheaper to make synthetic organs and then feed them synthetic food than it is to just power them with electricity, maybe humans have like a freaking energy crisis or something. I don't know. Actually, okay, so humans are completely uninvolved in the story, so I really don't know the logistics of everything. Uncomfortable fluorescent lighting. That's cheap. Pipes would definitely be on the outside. This is definitely an outside the wall pipes type of world. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. What do these pipes do? You need water. You need probably like other kinds of liquids. I don't know. Oil? I don't know what androids need. So these doors are probably like 6 feet tall, I'm guessing. Most doors are like 8 feet tall. Hold on, let me stand next to a door. Oh yeah, that's like a foot taller than me probably. So I guess that's at least like 7 feet or exactly 7 feet. I don't know. Actually, did I mention all my inspirations yet? So we got Signalis, obviously. I recently watched Ergo Proxy for the first time. I loved it, by the way. That was really good. Although the thing is, I don't know if I can say that's necessarily a inspiration as much as it is. I like it. A little bit of Nier Automata, not a lot, but there is some Nier there. I guess mentioning Ergo Proxy and Nier makes it sound like very philosophical. It's not. It is, I would say, psychological, but I guess there's some philosophy because there's talk about consciousness and determinism and autonomy. So I could draw that idea I had, but the question is, what's in the background? Could be a drill, could be a high-powered laser that destroys everything beneath it. Could also be an elevator. They have to dig down, and the Terras are the ones who dig. What if there's an elevator starting at the top, and it goes all the way down? Actually, it starts at the bottom. It starts at, let's call this level 1, and it goes down, and then the Terras dig more, and then it goes up to back to 1, drops everyone off. Then it goes to 2, takes everyone down, they all dig, and then 3. So it's like they work in shifts, but since there's so many floors, there's always work being done. I feel like it would be too humane to be like, oh yeah, they only work like an hour every day. So I can't believe I'm trying to design things to be less humane just so I can be more accurate to real life. Oh, that's a cool idea though, isn't it? I feel like that's a good idea. I don't know how many floors there are yet. Maybe there could be like 5 shifts, and each shift equals like 8 shifts. 1 shift equals 8 floors. They do this little system that I mentioned before. That feels pretty cool. What does the elevator look like? See, now we're getting somewhere. Now I actually have something to have in the background here. Is it just like a platform? Like that one French film? We gotta think about it like this. 8 floors. That's a lot of people. So if the floor plan for the facility is something like this, right? It's square at the top and then a cylinder down. It's like a screw because it has the like protruding bits. So it would be like this. And now that I think about it, this isn't like the only elevator to get around. It's just for Terras. But the thing is, like when Miel arrives at the facility, how does she get to her floor? If there's 8 shifts, so if I made it, every shift is 6 hours. That is roughly the size of a person on the elevator, I guess. But that's not enough space. 8 floors worth of Terras. Never mind. That's 64 Terras right there. They wouldn't stand shoulder to shoulder. 64, because, you know, 8 times 8, you know, it's... Is it thematic yet? Okay, so what does it look like from the side? I mean, they can have a window, but the thing is like, do you want a window? This is gonna be your point of view, right here. You got a pipe, and then you got an occasional platform and a door. And then repeat that a million times. I guess you could have numbers on the wall. Be like, you're on floor 8. It would be awfully dangerous if this was just on a chain and just slowly lowering. Okay, here's the question. Would it be cheaper / easier to have it be suspended by something? Or to have it like that? Whatever, like a piston. And I didn't think piston from Minecraft. I thought piston from real life. So it's okay. They just get a little railing. I don't know. That's not safe. What would this actually look like? This is like such a... Would there be chairs? How long does it take to get down? This is a whole moon the size of a large moon. So like someone from floor 1 would have to go all the way down there. Now, this definitely isn't safe. But if you have it on a chain, right? And you just let go... And as long as everyone's like strapped into a little chair, you know, I never actually thought about the logistics of an entire facility getting down to the bottom of everything. I guess they could jump, they get a parachute and they just jump down. I don't know. How do they get up? It's like waiting for a flight, you know? You know it's coming. As long as you don't leave the airport around the time the plane's supposed to take off, you should be fine. This is such a funny idea. Miel would be here. Really cool, just leaning against the thing, you know, whatever. And they're just like screaming. Like a carnival ride or something. In such like a serious and quiet story. And then you just, every once in a while, you just hear screaming. And it's like really fast too. So it's like the Doppler effect, right? It just comes in and goes so fast because it's so heavy. That's such a funny idea. Future me, edit that. Is it just like a whole room? They have like a pool table in there. You know, something tells me that this idea is gonna change by the time I actually start the series. I don't know why I'm like not mentioning things, but another inspiration I have is Blame, because it has the exclamation point. I'm yelling. Anyways, I haven't actually read Blame yet, but I've seen some of the like visuals and stuff, and I really want to read it, and then I want to get inspired by that and design stuff for this, because it feels like it's not technically the same kind of world, but there's a similar vibe I want to go for. Now, again, I don't know anything about Blame. Maybe you're thinking like, that doesn't make any sense. Blame is actually about dinosaurs fighting vampires, but it's, from what I've seen, it does not look like that. So, I don't know how interesting drawing environments is for people to watch, but I wanted to like talk about this world and also get better at drawing backgrounds and just basically just draw something that isn't a character, because I feel like that's all I do. I either design a character or make a one-shot, and I feel like there's definitely something else I could be doing. I didn't tell you to subscribe. I'll do that. Just edit this in earlier. Subscribe. Just like cut that out and then put it near the start of the video. Yeah, that's a good idea. On to the speed draw. I wonder what I'm gonna make. The scene I wanted to do was just Miel showing up to the facility. So it'd be like the scene, like one of the very first scenes in the whole story. Basically just had to design a transport ship and a little bit of terrain. And that's really it. I don't know, I still feel like I kind of stole from Signalis more than I maybe should have, because like hexagonal architecture and that radio tower and the snowy wasteland. Obviously, those ideas are not exclusive to Signalis. I don't know, I can't help but remember how I came up with the ideas, so it does feel a little fraudulent. My idea is all the ships, they land and dock and whatever by rails, and they start their launch with railgun-esque force. And so that's why the platform that the ship lands on here has those little cylinders. It's because it raises up, so it can essentially launch at an angle instead of just forward. I did have a hard time making the ship not look like a penis, though. That was an issue of mine. And then when I started painting, it felt kind of rough at the start, kind of like it was not looking like how it was supposed to. For some reason, the light was like bugging me. I did like how the snow turned out though, and the radio tower is also pretty neat. At one point I zoom out and I'm like, oh wait, that doesn't look terrible. And then moving to the ship, I did kind of struggle since most of it is obscured in darkness. I still wanted it to be visible. You can only really see in the space of the headlight of the ship, so it feels like it works, I think. It's just a little awkward. I really like the effect that I managed to get on the kind of like the little orange burners. I'm not exactly sure what they are or what they do. I imagine it's for steering in some way because it's on the sides. It's like propulsion of some kind. It's probably not powered by fire, I can tell you that much. I'm not sure how well I got the feeling of the isolation I wanted to get, because like maybe I could have made the lights more white than yellow to make it really feel more oppressive. I like it. Something feels a little off, but I am pretty happy with it. The entrance to the facility does sort of look like a barn. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I was struggling to figure out a way to make it not look boring. It's basically just going to look like a concrete block if I don't do anything special. And then I was really struggling with the flag. I really couldn't think of anything to put on there. Eventually I did settle on this little solar system design. So I guess whatever system this moon is in, maybe it's like moons around a certain planet, or maybe it's an entire solar system, I'm not sure. But that's where this place is. Overall, I am pleasantly surprised. It only took me like 3 hours in total, and I actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm happy with it. On to the next one. Starting with the sketch, I was running into a lot of issues, and you'll be able to tell as it goes on, but with the fan, it was just not agreeable. I don't know if it was the angle or if it was the fact that I don't know what an industrial fan looks like, but that's besides the point. This is a different angle than what I originally wanted. In my mind, this was always a really low angle, with Miel taking up like maybe a third of the composition. That didn't really work because my original idea for the composition had too much focus on Miel, so it's like, I don't really want to do that. If I were to draw it again, it would probably be that. I don't know. It doesn't fit with what I was trying to do here. I wouldn't say much interesting happens in the sketch. That's kind of the boring part. The painting, however, once again, starts really rough. Honestly, rougher than before. I was just trying to figure out the colors because I've had this color palette I've been dying to use, and I just haven't because it's been difficult to find a good spot to use pukey yellows and greens. But I thought this would be a good spot for it because it's like when you are doing like a mostly shadowed concrete kind of ugly wall and floor material, green is one of the colors you can use subtly. I'm not sure why, but I do really like the orange on the pipe. Yeah, I spent most of it just trying to avoid having to finish the fan. For some reason, the pipe was like the most satisfying part to do. It was like really, I did struggle a lot with the floor. Eventually it fixes, and well, it doesn't fix itself, I did it, but like, I feel like in my mind the logistics weren't really there because the lights felt like they shouldn't reach that far down, but then it would just be kind of like nonsense. The lighting and the shadows and like where Miel was sitting, it wouldn't make sense. And then I finally moved on to the fan. This was basically just a lot of me trying stuff, and if it worked, I kept it, and if it didn't work, I tried something else. A lot of trial and error. And then as I was putting Miel in, I kind of realized, oh, the scale is entirely off, because to reach that like little box thing, I guess it's like an electrical box, I don't know, you have to get like a really big ladder, and it doesn't make any sense. And honestly, I'm not gonna fix it because I don't care that much. You know, now that I think about it, it's also not a really good spot to read a book right next to a really big fan. That's not a good idea. But Miel, I was gonna say Miel isn't the brightest, but that is not true. So I am happy with this though. It was definitely a trust the process kind of scenario where the start was really rough, but it kind of smoothed itself out. Even though I do like the first one better. I think I just like the colors more. It's almost like pukey yellow and greens aren't as appealing. If I were to do anything different, I think I would add more shadow, and yeah, more shadow would make it more dramatic, and I'd probably do that. Hope you enjoyed the video, because I did. It was honestly actually really fun to make, and I think this is a good video. So it'll probably get like 10 views. Subscribe, like the video, comment. See you next time.